Hi everyone, welcome back to DFTW, a channel to view the world from a different angle. Today, we talk about China's military reshuffle, when something pretty huge happened in China, and it happened very quietly. No big headlines. No dramatic build-up on state TV. No emotional commentary. Just a short announcement from the Ministry of Defense, dropped on a weekend, saying that two top military leaders were under investigation for serious violations of discipline and law. Those two people were Zhang Youxia and Liu Zhenli. If you're not deep into Chinese politics, those names might not ring a bell. But within China's system, especially within the military, that was basically an earthquake. Zhang Youxia wasn't just another general. He was a Politburo member, vice chairman of the Central Military Commission, and effectively the number 2 guy in China's armed forces. Liu Zhenli was the head of the Joint Staff Department, the place that actually runs military operations. These weren't side characters. They were at the very top. Just months ago, rumors in the West went that Zhang Youxia would replace Xi Jinping. It was not a rumor, but black humor when we look back. And here's the key thing people often misunderstand: in China, when the government says someone is under investigation, that doesn't mean they just started looking into them. It means the investigation has been going on for a long time, the evidence is already there, and the person is politically finished. The real question is why this happened, and what it tells us about the state of China's military and Xi Jinping's rule. And once we dig into the timing, the internal signals, the corruption issues, and even possible leaks of military secrets, the picture that emerges is honestly pretty dark. Why announce this on a Saturday, then? In China, political timing is never random. Big, sensitive news often comes out late on Fridays or over the weekend. The logic is simple: fewer journalists are working, public discussion is weaker, and by Monday, people are already distracted by something else. So at first glance, we might think, classic damage control. But that explanation doesn't really hold up here. Zhang Youxia was one of the most powerful generals in the country, and one of the very few left who actually had real combat experience. Liu Zhenli was just as important. Even if this news had been released at 3 in the morning on a holiday, global media would still have jumped on it instantly. So why rush it out on a Saturday? The more believable explanation is that Beijing couldn't wait. By the time the announcement came out, rumors had already been flying around for days, especially overseas, where censorship doesn't apply. Inside China, people weren't openly talking about it online, but within the party and the military, word travels fast. Something had already leaked. Something had already broken. To understand how the rumors started, we need to understand something China watchers call absence politics. In the Chinese system, attendance is political. If you're supposed to attend a meeting and you don't show up, people notice you are ill, on a business trip elsewhere, or in serious trouble immediately. In January, the Communist Party held a major study session at the Central Party School, bringing together Politburo members, vice premiers, top military leaders, basically everyone at the vice-national level or above. All 7 members of the Politburo Standing Committee were on stage. Xi Jinping gave a speech. Li Chang chaired the meeting. Han Zheng was there as vice president. In other words, if you mattered, you were supposed to be there. But several very important people were missing. Zhang Youxia didn't show up. Liu Zhenli didn't show up. Shi Jinping didn't show up. He Lifeng didn't show up. Now, one of these had a clear explanation. He Lifeng was abroad on official business. Fine. That checks out. Shi Jinping later showed up at the final session looking visibly sick, which clearly explained his absence. But Zhang Youxia and Liu Zhenli, they never appeared. Not even a minute. And for people who understand how Chinese politics works, that's when the alarm bells start ringing. Zhang Youxia's disappearance didn't happen in a vacuum. For more than 2 years now, China's military has been going through what we can only describe as a slow-motion bloodbath. The right word for that is purge. It started with the rocket force, China's most sensitive strategic unit. Then it spread to weapons procurement, political departments, and logistics. Senior generals fell one after another. Defense ministers vanished. Entire chains of command collapsed. At one point, almost every full general promoted before 2022 was either removed or under investigation. Zhang Youxia and Liu Zhenli were among the last people from that generation still standing. That alone made their absence suspicious. Zhang Youxia was last seen publicly on January 12, 2026, at a major anti-corruption meeting. After that, he disappeared. 8 days later, he skipped the party school session. By that point, speculation was unavoidable. Rumors had previewed his fall since then. When the official announcement finally came, it was incredibly short. Just a few lines. No details. No explanations. But if you know the system, you don't need more. In China, filing a case for investigation isn't the beginning of the process. It's the end of the political process. It means the evidence is already there, protection is gone, and the next step is the courts. That isn't a warning shot. It's a political death notice. To really understand how dramatic that is, look at the last Central Military Commission lineup. It included Xi Jinping, Zhang Youxia, He Weidong, Miao Hua, Zhang Xingmin, and Li Shangfu. Now, Li Shangfu is gone. Miao Hua is gone. He Weidong is gone. Zhang Youxia is also gone. The only ones left are Xi Jinping and Zhang Xingmin, and the latter is literally to investigate and arrest everyone else. That's not a cleanup. That's a collapse. Zhang Xingmin is an eraser who helped erase all other members except the big boss. The simplest explanation for Zhang Youxia's downfall is corruption, and honestly, it's also the strongest one. But it is not the only one. The day after the announcement, the PLA Daily published an editorial. These editorials are carefully written signals. They don't tell you everything, but they tell you what the leadership wants you to focus on. The language was brutal. It accused Zhang and Liu of betraying the party's trust, damaging the chairman's responsibility system, undermining party control over the military, and corroding the political foundations of the armed forces. That wasn't just about money. It was about power, loyalty, and control. If you want to find corruption in any military, you look at procurement first. China is no exception. For years, weapons purchases were handled through closed-door negotiations, not open bidding, especially for systems only one company could make. That created a massive room for manipulation. After the Rocket Force scandal, investigators followed the money straight into China's major defense companies. CEOs were arrested. Executives disappeared. Zhang Youxia once oversaw equipment development. His successor, Li Shangfu, also fell. That pattern isn't subtle. Then there's promotions. China hasn't fought a real war in over 30 years. Without combat to separate competence from incompetence, promotions are based on relationships and money. Bribes for senior promotions used to run into the tens of millions of yuan, equivalent to millions of dollars. And there's no reason to believe that system ever truly disappeared. Every major purge in recent years has hit personnel, and political departments especially hard. That's not random. Whenever someone this powerful falls, rumors start flying. Some people overseas claimed Zhang Youxia challenged Xi Jinping directly or tried to force him out. Even a famous YouTuber in Toronto kept talking about Zhang Youxia overthrowing Xi Jinping several months ago. It sounds dramatic. Still, it doesn't make much sense. After the 2017 military reforms, power in the PLA became extremely centralized. The old power bases were dismantled. Everything flows through the Central Military Commission, which Xi Jinping himself chairs. A coup under those conditions would be incredibly difficult. More importantly, Xi Jinping has shown again and again that he can remove anyone he wants from the military. That's not the behavior of a leader under threat. That's the behavior of a leader with overwhelming control. Xi Jinping firmly controls the Chinese military, as Putin does the Russian army. Another theory points to internal factional struggles. But Zhang Youxia wasn't a rival. He was widely seen as one of Xi Jinping's most trusted people. His age exemption alone was a sign of personal favor. If this were about factional warfare, it would mean Xi Jinping was destroying his own most loyal lieutenant. Which brings us to the most disturbing possibility. The leak theory, the nuclear question. After the announcement, a Wall Street Journal report dropped a bombshell. According to the report, Zhang Youxia may have been implicated, directly or indirectly, in leaks related to nuclear or missile information. The alleged chain involved senior figures in China's nuclear industry, who had been arrested just days earlier. The claim is explosive and still unproven. Direct leaks by Zhang Youxia himself seem unlikely. His contact with U.S. officials was limited and heavily monitored. But indirect leaks through oversight failures, procurement, or compromised systems are more plausible. It is highly probable, given precedent. In 2022, a U.S. Air Force-linked research group released an incredibly detailed report on China's rocket force. It included base locations, unit structures, commanders' names, and far more than open sources should allow. DFTW uploaded a video before talking about that incident. That report caused panic inside China's military. And soon after, the rocket force purge began. If investigators later concluded that failures at the very top made those leaks possible, Zhang Youxia would inevitably be implicated. Whether corruption alone brought Zhang Youxia down, or whether leaks played a role, the outcome is the same. China's military leadership has been hollowed out. At recent disciplinary meetings, almost everyone in the room was a newly promoted officer. Institutional memory is gone. Experience has been wiped away. That creates short-term loyalty but long-term risk. A military full of fast-tracked officers may be obedient. But it's also untested, fragile, and more likely to make mistakes. For Beijing, that may be a price worth paying, especially as it seeks to reunite with Taiwan during President Xi Jinping's third term. For everyone else, it raises uncomfortable questions about stability, crisis management, and the future direction of China's military. Zhang Youxia's fall isn't just another corruption case. It's the result of years of internal decay, secrecy, and extreme centralization. It shows a system that no longer trusts itself and is willing to consume its own leadership to survive. Xi Jinping may now command a military that answers only to him. Whether that military is actually stronger, or just quieter but weaker, remains an open question. And that question matters far beyond China. Obviously, Xi Jinping is learning from Putin's military action in Ukraine, and the corruption of the Russian army and its slow progress in the war scared him, prompting him to clean up the Chinese military at a sweeping speed. Thanks for watching videos from DFTW. If you believe more people should watch them, please like and share them with your friends. We hope to grow the DFTW community together to 1 million subs in the near future.